Hey guys, Sean from Invest to Live here. So today I want to jump right into it. We're going to talk about analysis paralysis as it relates to real estate investing and other types of investments as well. So, as always, let's jump right in. When we think about analysis paralysis, this is a term we hear a lot in the investing community where you sort of spend a lot of time really prepping yourself, reading all the material you can get your hands on, joining online forums, doing a lot of the research, spending time on Zillow, looking at tons of houses, open houses, what the rents might be, reading books until your eyes basically bleed, right? And it's this idea that if I just learn enough and then a little bit more and a little bit more, over time, I'll be really confident and prepared to make that decision to go out and buy that first rental property or potentially invest in that first stock that I've been thinking about doing or jumping into the markets. But what we tend to find is you build up so much sort of like need for more, it's very hard to get over the line and actually make the decision to go ahead and do something. And I think a lot of it is based oftentimes in fear. So when we think about analysis paralysis, it's really this idea that we fall into this trap of being paralyzed by our need to do even more research and more analysis and deeper in-depth learning about what we're working on. But the good news is it's actually pretty easy to overcome. And I'm thinking here as we're sitting, late December in 2020, what can you do to get off to a good start in 2021 and start that investment journey for yourself? So there's a few things I want to talk about today, and we'll cover some of that as we go through the video here. As always, make sure you do research and work with qualified professionals. I'm not your advisor. So, do the work, do the research, work with people who are licensed and qualified to support you here. And then also, if you think the video is valuable, please hit the like button and subscribe. I really appreciate it. So let's think tactically. How do we get around this? We've done our time. We've asked our questions. We've read our books. We watched some videos on YouTube, which is great. And I actually think it's a great place to start, frankly, is really build up that baseline of knowledge. But sometimes it takes a big transition to go from that world of just watching a video or looking at things online and looking at pictures and potentially even throwing those numbers into a spreadsheet and understanding your cap rates, your ROI, your internal rate of returns. You might do your research on what the rent will be. You want to understand where you go to get your financing, but you've never actually done any of that. So, what I would say is as we're getting going, coming up on 2021 here, let's take some actionable steps to try to do something to get the ball rolling. So for the sake of this video and this conversation, I want to focus more on the real estate investing side of it, although the same can be done for stocks and making your first move there. But let's focus on real estate. The first thing you should really do now that you've done your research and you really want to pull the trigger and get out there and get that rental investment property is let's start talking to real people about what's involved in it. This isn't watching a video. This isn't reading another book. Call up some local realtors and just ask for time with them and say you're looking to get into the investment property world and you'd like to understand what's out there, what's in the market. Can you start getting active listings sent to you in real time? This is sort of a really easy step. It costs nothing. And frankly, a lot of realtors and agents are going to be happy to do so. And what I would say in parallel as well is as you're reaching out to those realtors to get an idea of what's available, what the markets look like, what kind of rents are actually out there in the market, and also go and approach a couple of banks. Could be big name banks. It could be local credit unions. I think credit unions work great, especially for first-time real estate investors, but whatever works for you is fine. And start to get a relationship going. Just go in and ask for some time and say, hey, look, I'm brand new to real estate, but I'd like to get involved. I'd like to start doing some rental property investing. And the best thing you can do is, at a minimum, get pre-qualified, give them your real numbers, and just have them do a little bit of a mock-up of what you could realistically expect to be able to afford. Now, if you want to take it to the next step, and I do suggest you do this, go ahead and get pre-approved so you know the actual number you can work with. And that pre-approval will also empower you to know when I see something I like that makes sense on the numbers that I've decided I want to go after, I can go ahead and make it happen and make it work. So that to me are those two first steps that can really run in parallel. Start talking to realtors about real properties in your area that you're looking at, and start talking to banks about getting the financing lined up and approved so that when you see something, you can actually act on it. Now, one of the questions we hear all the time is, what if I don't know what to do when I get it? What if there's a problem with the tenants? What if there is XYZ problem that I didn't think of ahead of time? Well, one more thing you can do that's very actionable and can really drive value is Google local property managers and give them a call and say, hey, look, I'm a new real estate investor. I'm getting ready to make a property purchase in 2021. Could I get 15 or 20 minutes to talk about the process of hiring a property manager? And even if you're planning to self-manage and do it on your own, that's okay. A lot of these property managers are good people who are licensed and want to help you anyways, and it's good for their business as well to know more people. Maybe it's just something you can reach out to and have that casual conversation with. Now, let's circle back to this idea of working with a realtor. The other thing that I really suggest that's highly actionable is start going to open houses. And every time you go, explain your story, be very honest and say, hey, here's what I'm looking to do. If you find anything that fits the parameters that I would like, let me know about it. And what I find you'll also get into is you'll start to form more relationships with these realtors. And in turn, what I would really suggest, frankly, and I've done this for many years as well, is just ask if the owner's local and would be interested in talking to a new investor. And maybe that owner can even set you up with some tours, some further advice, some actionable guidance. And you never know, you could always ask for owner financing and find a good way to get into that property as well. So the big takeaway today is how do we start to go from this, very theoretical understanding of what to do and how to get there and start to create some action around that, right? Getting a realtor lined up means real properties. Getting financing lined up means ready to make offers. Talking to property managers means understanding local laws and rules that they can share with you. And going and actually seeing these properties makes it very real. You can look at hundreds of properties on Zillow and it gets very feature function-y, right? Like this one has a nicer kitchen versus this one, and you get focused on the wrong kind of things. What you want to get in is understanding, what does it actually feel like to be in there? Would you live there? Would you be comfortable going and managing this property? Do you think you could get tenants to live there? And really, these are the things that I do all the time and have helped me build a portfolio of real estate rentals. So that's really what I wanted to focus on today was how can we get out of this paralysis analysis bubble for 2021 and take some actionable steps that can actually drive value to what you're trying to build on. I'm going to be doing some subsequent follow-ups around rental property investing and really digging in here. There's been a lot of demand for that. So look for more videos. And other than that, good luck. Let's get the ball rolling. Let's get some rental properties under your belt. Thanks so much.